The seventh background check on Judge Kavanaugh potentially done as soon as tomorrow, and a vote coming soon after. Senator Corker said he does believe the Democrats may have overplayed their hand. So let's bring in our own political experts. Former senior advisor to Hillary Clinton, Philippe Reines, and the national spokesperson for the Republican National Committee, Kayleigh McEnany. Good to see you both tonight.
Good to see you.
All right, Kayleigh, the president has been very disciplined about this, but tonight that seemed very unscripted, what he had to say about Dr. Ford and Judge Kavanaugh and the things that they're proceeding. Was that off message for him tonight, or was that exactly where he intended to go?
I think it's where he intended to go, and it was consistent with what a lot of Republicans and others have noted about her testimony, that in fact she could not recall the time, the place, how she got to the house, how she left the house, but she did happen to remember two things: that she had one beer and that she was 100% certain that this person was Brett Kavanaugh, after 30 years of not being able to identify her or not telling anyone that it was in fact him who was the assailant. So I think he was making that point, which several others have made.
Okay, so let's talk now about the fact that there are a lot of people weighing in from all over the political spectrum on this. But even Republicans now are seeming to want to hedge their bets a little bit. And that includes Senator Jeff Flake, who was the one who led us to this 1 week delay in the FBI. Here's what he's saying.
I tell myself you give a little leeway because of what he's been through. But on the other hand, we can't have this on the court. We simply can't.
Now, Philippe, that's very much like something we heard from your former boss. Here's Hillary Clinton.
I think for anyone who believes there's such a thing as a judicial temperament, and that we want judges, particularly those on our highest court, to approach issues, approach plaintiffs and defendants with a sense of fairness, that there's a lot to be concerned about.
Okay, so over the weekend, this was the new thing now, temperament is the issue. After this man, who a lot of folks say was backed into a corner and trying to fight his way out, he just seemed way too emotional and partisan.
I don't think that was emotional. I think that was a meltdown. I understand if someone, and I've been asked this, what would you do? Would you just sit there? No. I would be indignant. I'd be upset. But you know what I would do? I would call for an investigation. I would say, I am innocent. I want to respect what Dr. Ford has said. I can't reconcile the two, but I want the benefit of the doubt, and I want you to get to the bottom of this, and I'm not going anywhere till you do. That's not what he said. I mean, it was every time someone...
He do whatever the committee wanted.
I know. He should have just said, I want an investigation, because the next day, everyone turned on him and called for an investigation. It was just silly. So I think the temperament part is legitimate. You want someone who has the maturity. I mean, what's the saying? Sober like a judge? I mean, that man was not sober like a judge. He practically, had anger management problems there in the way he's interacting. I understand how frustrated he may be, but there's a way to be strong and deny it and explain and be compelling without the guy who showed up. And if you want to go with the boys will be boys defense, then don't be the judge who's acting like a boy.
But that was not a meltdown. I mean, and Democrats can't have it both ways. Had he not shown any emotion whatsoever, they would have said he was cold. He didn't show any emotion. He was very calm, I thought. He showed emotion appropriately. If you had to sit there for a week as you watch the mainstream media smear your name with heinous accusations of gang rape, I'm pretty certain anyone who was innocent would react the way that he did.
Well, and threats to the family, too, which is happening on all sides. I mean, Dr. Ford's families have threats. I mean, this is an incredibly stressful situation for everybody who has gotten drawn into it, and unfortunate that that's the level of rhetoric we've gone to.
I know people who know the Kavanaughs and who swear by them, who can't believe this. But I also, this woman came forward and she made a statement, and I don't understand what the Republican talking points are anymore. The president you just showed.
Well, their talking point is there's no corroborating evidence.
No.
And that's what they're looking for.
But is it mistaken identity that something did happen to this woman? Or is it she's lying and she's a left-wing shill?
A lot of people definitely think something's happened. Let me read something here from Senator Coons. He says, I remain very concerned that we might not get the prompt but thorough investigation that these serious allegations warrant and that the Senate and the American people deserve. Now, he was part of the one making the deal with Senator Flake for this 1 week delay. And now, Kayleigh, it sounds like maybe it's not going to be good enough.
Sure. To quote Senator McConnell, Majority Leader McConnell, I can almost hear him moving the goalposts. This was the predictable endpoint of Democrats. They would call for the investigation. Amy Klobuchar said, just 1 week. What's the problem with 1 week? Well, now nothing is good enough because nothing will ever satisfy Democrats. This is about delaying beyond the midterms. It's about delaying until 2020. That's the sad truth. And in doing so, they are smearing an innocent man and besmirching his character.
All right, if the FBI investigation is done by tomorrow or sooner, should they vote by the end of the week?
I think there should be an artificial deadline. I mean...
No. If the report is in, should they vote?
people should be able to read it and decide. And sure, I don't know what the rush is.
On Friday, Judge Kavanaugh will become Justice Kavanaugh, and I predict some Democrats will come on board as well.
I don't know.
You're starting to think that Republicans don't really like letting investigations go their full course.
Okay, but they all agreed to this 1 week thing. All right, Philippe and Kaylee, great to see you both.